Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm going to be talking about the Cecil Hotel that is situated in Los Angeles. Now, the Cecil Hotel is an affordable housing complex in downtown Los Angeles. It opened up in December 1924 as a hotel, but it declined during the Great Depression and subsequent decades. In 2011, the hotel was renamed the Stay on the Main. The 14th floor hotel has 700 guest rooms and a checkered history with many SEs and accidental or unnatural deaths occurring there. Renovations started in 2017 were halted by the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in the hotel's temporary closure. On December the 13th, 2021, the Cecil Hotel was opened back up as an affordable housing complex. Now, with the Cecil Hotel, a lot of YouTubers have been there, so they have over the time period. The ones that I've seen there is Elton Castee with Patty Negri and Linda the Ghost Hunter, and obviously then Colin went. Obviously, a few years not long ago actually, and he interviewed some people that actually stay there. One of the lifts weren't working, and it was really run down. But I remember Patty Negri trying to say, "Look, needs to shut down. It is very bad. There's too many people dying in this building." And obviously, because it's housed for people that are homeless and that are it's all come through all different walks of life. I mean, there's been some amount of deaths in there. The recent one was Elisa Lam, who sadly lost her life there. I mean, she's been lying there dead in a tank of water, and people were complaining about the water. Nobody done nothing. Now, Elisa Lam had bipolar, so nobody knows if she came off her medication or not. Now, as somebody it's been brought up with, with my grandmother that had bipolar. She had times that she would just come off her medication. She wasn't nasty or anything like that. We'd have to put her into hospital so she could get put back in her medication. And just before she died, 3 years ago, obviously she came off her medication, and she was at an age, unfortunately, that she was in her late 80s. So obviously she had a bit of dementia. She was never remembering things, and it was a shame. But with Elisa Lam, she could have forgot to take medication, and because when you see the video of Elisa Lam, you see her in the lift, and she's looking as if somebody's come to get her. Now, with somebody that's bipolar, everybody's out to get them. I'll tell you that right now. So, and that's coming for somebody who's grew up, because I found my grandma on my bed when I was very young. I was about 9 or 10. And I couldn't wake her up. There was tablets beside her, and we had to phone for the doctor and obviously an ambulance to get her to the hospital. So it was very. I wasn't scared. I was just obviously I was wanting to know my gran was okay. I was very bonded with my gran. So with somebody I've grew up with that and obviously my kids grew up watching my gran as well with the bipolar. But so she could have came off her medication. There was a lot of people coming in and out of that hotel. It could have swayed her and got her to sell her medication, especially when she was only a student. So for students, they would they easily want to just make money. So you don't know. In my heart of hearts, I think she's went in there herself into that water tank, because when you look, Exploring with Josh went up, and I'm trying to remember that it was somebody else that was filming with Elton Christina, and they went up the ladders, and it's like it'd be very hard for somebody, I think, carry. I mean, somebody else. I mean, maybe not. I don't know how strong the ladders are, but when you see the ladders outside the building, you're like, how did she get up there? But then there's the door, because they were trying to say the door was shut. That door was easily opened. So the fact is there was some amount of people that died over the years. It's kind of scary, and there's a known killer there as well. So, but I think that was well before Lisa Lamb's case. Obviously, as I said, the location, Cecil Hotel, is located in Los Angeles, United States. And it opened up in 1924. The owner was Richard Bourne. The management Schedule Housing Trust, obviously. The floor count is 14 above ground, 1 basement, 1 level, mezzanine, whatever that, lifts, elevators, 2 by the Oasis Elevator Company. Design and construction was Loy Lester Smith. Developer Simon Barron Developments. It's got 700 rooms and 301 suites. Obviously, we didn't see it. We just seen majority of the rooms where obviously Elton and that was filming, and where Colin went up, because obviously had to go up the stairs. Obviously, it's a private place. It was designed in 2011. It was obviously in 2023 Los Angeles Times article described and photographed the rundown conditions inside the Cecil Hotel, which include black mould and vermin infestations, water leakage, graffiti, vandalism, and unsanitary communal amenities. Many of its low-income residents, including former scheduled homeless persons, require ongoing medical, mental health, and substance abuse treatment. Now, this is what I was telling you about Colin and his brother-in-law. I'm trying to remember that young boy's name. Can't remember. Sorry, Colin. But he's they went in and interviewed, and it was so bad. It was so bad. It was the fault. I don't know how they get away. I don't know how I know they were warned that they'd end up getting shut down if they didn't get a holiday place. It was so bad. There's people with machetes and that on the stairwell, and they watch you just to try and rob you. In 2024, the owners of the Hotel Cecil, Simon Barron Properties, listed the property for sale. So last year it was up for sale. That is because of what's going on. The Cecil was built in 2024 by 3 hoteliers: William Banks Hanna, Charles L. Dix, and Robert H. Scallops. Don't know if I'm pronouncing it. It's a destination for businesses, travellers, and tourists. And that's what happened. People come in and out that building all the time. But as again, it's like it was in an area, it was run down and things like that. So it was cheap. Nah, anybody wanted. It's like it's when we go on holiday, you try to go for the cheapest, but usually sometimes the cheapest turns out in that is in full of bed bugs and things like that. So just be careful when you're thinking. Just kind of save up a bit more money if you want to get a better hotel. It was designed by Lloyd Lester Simon in the Boyaux Arts or Art Deco style and constructed with W. Padding. The hotel cost 1.5 million to complete and boasted an opulent marble lobby and stained glass windows, potted palms, and alabaster statuary. The three hoteliers invested about 2.5 million in their enterprise, with the knowledge that several similar hotels had been established elsewhere downtown. But within 5 years of its opening, the United States sank into the Great Depression. Although the whole hotel flourished as fashionable destinations throughout the 1940s, the decades beyond saw the hotel decline as the nearby area became known as Schedule. Schedule became increasingly populated with transcendents. As many as 10,000 homeless people lived with a 4-mile, 6-kilometre radius. In 1987, the Cecil Hotel featured prominently in the recordings of U2's music video, Where the Streets Have No Names. Ah, right, I remember that video. Right, so that's where that video came from. Right, cool. Oh, with many of the building's historical features visible, you think I would have maybe that is some song. Listen to that for YouTube if anybody's a U2 fan. In 2008, a portion of the hotel was refurbished after new owners took over from there. In 2011, part of the Cecil Hotel was rebranded as Stay in the Main. It was all, even at that, renaming it didn't help. With separate reception areas during the day, but with shared facilities, and its official website remained the cecilhotel.com. I mean, when Elton and Patty and things like that went in, it was beautiful. I'm not joking. The building, but inside it was, you seen a marble floor and things like that. So you seen that there was a lot of work done in it. But see, when Colin went in it, you seen how run down that building was, how run down it was. Because I remember when Josh and it was Brandon and Cody or something like that, his name was. They were in one room, and it was, you could tell they were going to start opening it up back then. I can't remember what year they filmed. It was quite a while ago, and I think it was on the overnight channel or the TFI. I can't remember. In 2014, the hotel was sold to New York hotelier Richard Bourne for 30 million. 30 million for that building. I wouldn't have even paid £2 for that building. It's bad. It is run with rats, and the mould is bad. See if you do the hotel up, do other places next to it up as well, and make it that so people want to come to your hotel. And but see, things as you want people coming to visit, you want people to enjoy their stay in the area, that bit of America. So it's, but you need places for the homeless, because here in the UK there's absolutely nothing for the homeless. So people with it's no that, never ever judge anybody that is homeless or on drugs, and you don't know their situation. They could be taking these drugs and drink to what they think is, because it's obviously for trauma at end of now, but what they need to get off it is a lot of mental health help. And unfortunately, around the world, there's lack of it. And I do think America needs to get a grip and stop with all this charging people to go into hospitals, because people are getting into debt, and that's how people they can't go to hospitals. I think they need to address that. Um, as I said, after, obviously somebody spent 30 million, after which another New York-based firm, Simon Barron Development, required a 99-year ground lease on the property. In 2016, Matt Barron, president of Simon Barron, said he was committed to the preservation of the architecturally of historically significant components of the building, such as the hotel's grand lobby, but his company planned to completely redevelop the interior and fix the hodgepodge work that had been done in more recent years. I mean, when I'm trying to think what year Elton and that was in. I mean, that was where, I mean, as I said, that was years ago, and you've seen it being done up. There was obviously, they just had rooms and they had like toilets. It was like a wee cupboard and things like that. But if you wanted a toilet or a shower, it was, you had to go out onto the landing. So, but if they want to do it up, it's maybe even put it into, not even rooms, put, because some of these people are sharing about, there's about 4 or 5 of them, and if you actually go and look into somebody's videos that does Cecil Hotel, right, look how small the rooms are. They're not that big, not that big at all. So the hotel closed in 2017. The renovation, but the work was suspended obviously for COVID. In February 2017, the Council for Los Angeles voted to deem the Cecil a historic cultural monument. That's because it when it was built, it was built away back in the 20s. And obviously, but if you're going to do that, then look after it. Because it's representative of an early 20th century American hotel, and because of the historic significance of the architect's body of work, as I've said, if you see the architecture of the work, the flooring and the ceilings, and especially in the lobby area, and the reception is beautiful. Well, it was. So that I do agree that when it comes to historical things, yes, it needs to be saved. Unfortunately, in the UK, they like to pull things down that is historic and put up glass buildings, which is horrible. On December the 13th, 2021, the Cecil reopened as an affordable housing complex operated by Skid Row Housing Trust. So somebody else is taking it on, because to house people that can't really afford, like, because in America, I mean, it's the same here, right? People who are on social housing cannot afford for private accommodation, because landlords are ridiculous. For my flat, and my landlord doesn't care about the flat. It's like I've been here like 15 years. It's like fixed a few things over that time. Doesn't do anything, but takes happy to take money, and you're talking about nearly £2,000 per calendar month for nothing to be done. A lot of these landlords, some even more, don't even care, because there's mould and everything within the buildings. But the city council are just as bad. The city council is just as bad, and it's good that it is people can go into a place like this, but if you're going to do that, fix it up so that people have somebody coming in to how to set our mental health and things like that. That needs to as a top priority. There is a lot into the Cecil Hotel, and it's like a lot. As I said, there's a lot of deaths, and obviously there's like a killer that stayed there at a point. Elisa Lam was what was known as the recent death because obviously I was everywhere. Everybody knew about that case because it went viral and because of how and where she was found. And people were reporting it and not caring. They taking that woman's clothes and thinking that their parents were distraught, and I think they sued the Cecil Hotel because they taking her clothes and thinking it should disappear. Didn't even bother searching or nothing. Lied, plainly lied on interviews, lied through their teeth. Um, as I said, I'll read more because obviously I'm getting a bit thirsty, and I don't want to be drinking my juice because when you stay in Scotland, everybody loves iron brew, but also I'm not going to sit and drink on a camera. So I will obviously read this again, and I'll go through obviously more, and we'll go through obviously each death. I will tag Colin, and I was ready to call Castle. It's Elton Castay, because I can't remember which one the Cecil Hotel was on. I can't remember if it was overnight or the TFIL channel. So I'll just tag both because it means you can actually go look, right? But I'll obviously read more into the history because I love history of buildings and things like that and people's lives. I mean, I've grew up thinking with it's a, I could tell you a lot about my family. Do you know what I mean? Through historical things, we sat and told you history about other people's lives as well. So yeah, but I'll come back and I'll read this again. As if you want, I'll read the rest of it, obviously, because there is a lot. I mean, see, when I say a lot, there is a lot. But obviously, I'm just wanting to go and get a drink because I am quite perished. So I'll send in love and light and good night. And as I always say, come together united rather than divided, guys, right? There's too much controversy and wars. We need to stop these. Rather than being divided, let's come together, right? Good night.